Hi, everyone. Welcome. Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen just 1 second. Just realized that I wasn't sharing. All right, I think we're good. Oh, no, just 1 second. I think now we're good. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Happy Monday. Are you all excited to start the week? I'm speaking from Brazil, so we just had our carnival last week. So most of us are still a little slow to get back on track. So carnival is this huge party in Brazil, and we even have like 2 days off at the beginning of the week. So that was last week. And we only work like on Wednesday, the second half of the day during the afternoon, on Thursday and on Friday. But those days are just so that we can settle in with the days that we didn't work. So now is truly the day that we're getting back to it. And we will be getting back to it talking about AI agents, which is my favorite topic. I know I'm biased, okay? But I do love AI. I do love how it has changed and adapted not only our day-to-day lives, but especially in our operations, in our careers, okay? So um, it changed rapidly, right? So I can tell you for a fact that at the beginning of last year, I was giving trainings regarding Pipefy. I was talking to customers. I was traveling around Brazil talking to a lot of our national customers, and they had no idea that AI was even going to be a thing, right? So that was at the beginning of last year. And we had, of course, some idea based on the market, based on patterns that we follow according to what we see that is important in Pipefy, that what is important to our customers as well. But it was at mid last year that we officially launched Pipefy AI, right? So we had to give a lot of trainings regarding this huge feature that we had launched that was going to make quite possibly the biggest effect and impact that our customers have seen so far from our product, right? So that's why it's my favorite subject, guys. That's why I love talking about AI because it is a game changer, not only, like I said, in our day-to-day lives, but I'm here to talk about Pipefy. So it's definitely a game changer in our Pipefy knowledge, in our Pipefy operations. Okay. So I think most of you who were on in the queue were able to, yeah, I think you were all able to join. All right. So I will introduce myself for those who don't know me yet. I do see some familiar names and some new names that I think haven't been around for any of our previous master classes. So welcome. I'm very glad to have you. And I will explain some of our rules here for the master class. Okay. So nice to meet you all. My name is Fernanda. Like I said, I am from Brazil. I am the global product trainer here at Pipefy. And I will leave the most important message to you here in our chat button right now. Okay. So, like I said before we start, we have our chat. It's open to all of you. Okay. And so let me know if you have any issues with the audio, with the video. But if you do have any questions about Pipefy, about AI, anything that perhaps I can help with, and even if I can't, I will find someone that can inside of Pipefy. You can leave that question in our Q&A button. Okay. If you leave that question on the chat, I might not see it. So if you use the Q&A button, that's a lot more reassured. All right. And of course, our webinar, our masterclass is being recorded. Okay, so if you want to share with colleagues, with people from other departments within your company, with friends, you can share the recording as soon as you receive it through your email, right? So by the end of the week, hopefully by Thursday, I will be able to send you all the recording along with this presentation, all right? in the email. So you can, of course, come back to the contents later, okay? So like I said, I will leave the most important message in the chat right now, okay? Let me just copy it 1 second. This important message is my email, okay? So that's fernanda.cunha@pipefy.com. All right, so you can copy and paste that on your notes. If you have any questions, even after the webinar, if somehow you don't receive the recording, if something goes wrong, you can message me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right? So let's get started, guys. Let's talk a little bit about AI. We will cover the practical part as well. Okay, so we'll begin a little bit with the theory about why we basically adopted this idea of AI agents into our platform. And then we'll get to the practical, and I will show you a few demos. Okay. So what you see here is basically the next frontier in workflow automation, right? So basically we started with scripts that were basically a way to automate repetitive digital tasks with minimal variability in the workflow. So that is basically how even this idea of automating manual and repetitive tasks started. Then we move on to RPA, which is how to automate repetitive system actions, right? With some user interface-based interactions. So that's when we start to analyze more interface-based interactions, more basically ways that we can determine how our customer acts within our product. Then we move on to machine learning, which is how we use machine learning, these models, right, to dynamically adapt workflows based on patterns and feedback loops, right? So you can start to realize that not only is the automation level being considered, but the intelligence of the platform, of the product is also being developed. Then we talk about intelligent assistance, which is basically how to automate the resolution of high volume requests and, of course, send tickets on behalf of the users. So we adapt the interactions based on the user's responses. That is a lot of what we see with chatbots, right? So based on what the user asks or answers or acts, right? We can determine how our intelligent assistant will reply, will interact with that user. And that's how we get to the AI agent. The AI agent basically encompasses the scripts, the RPA, the machine learning, and the intelligent assistance. So what is an AI agent? It's an interactive approach to automation, interactive and interactive, right? Approach to automation, where AI agents are empowered to engage in a more dynamic and self-reflective process. The AI agent is autonomous, right? So the agent will work for us. We will determine what that agent will and can and should do, right? But we will not be the ones doing it. The humans will be the ones dictating the rules to the agent, and the agent will be executing, right? So in Pipefy, they are autonomous, or you could say supervised programs capable of creating and executing tasks, making independent decisions and adapting to different contexts, right? So they can utilize and leverage various tools, such as automations, knowledge bases, interfaces, and AI models to enhance efficiency and generate impact like never before, all right? 1 second. So based on what I said, we can realize that I have here 4 different kinds of agents. I have my builders, right? So they can create applications across the organization, such as pipes, automations, fields, and other agents, all right? Of course, this is still being developed, so I'm sure most of you have already been able to use our AI builder for pipes, for processes, right? Soon, you'll be able to see how we can create agents to do automations within, to perform automations within our pipes, right? To complete fields, to help with the movement of cards, to help with SLA alerts, right? So you will soon see that possibility. We have the specialists, which are responsible for specific tasks and scopes, such as task-oriented autonomous agents, right? So we can build agents in one place. So I will soon show you where you can build these agents, right? I'm sure, like I said, most of you have already been able to explore. It's still in our automations button, but we have the option to create agents there, right? And how can we differentiate these objectives? It's by the prompt. These are basically the different functions that they have, but we can differentiate them with these prompts, with what we order these agents to do, okay? The operators are responsible for a specific pipe, so they can manage experts and, of course, handle records. And the orchestrators are capable of assembling multiple pipes and knowledge sources across the organization. Like I said, some of these are still being worked on, all right? But it's very important to us that you're here, that you are interested in learning more about AI agents, and soon you will see that change in our Pipefy product. So again, if you know how to ask, our AI knows how to deliver, right? So within Pipefy, we can see that we change this idea of needing to code, of having the knowledge of coding, of programming, to a low code or no code availability, right? So we use the natural language to achieve what Pipefy AI aims to do, okay? And this is a very important slide here that I have to show you. Basically, it covers what our main objectives are in Pipefy today. So we are an agents platform. We have business rules, we have automations, we have proprietary data, and now we have the cognitive reasoning with our AI agents. That all sums up in intelligent workflows. So whether you were talking about a customer support pipe or a finance pipe, an HR process, a legal process, we can transform these processes, these workflows in different agents, right? Of course, we can also use native connectors, iPaaS, HTTP, API, other integrations with our platform. But within Pipefy, we can already see this possibility of intelligence, okay? So what are our applications of AI within Pipefy? We have assistants, which can be divided into analytics and, of course, assistant. So the analytics will provide insights about the operation, and the assistant will answer questions, and we have the option for the assistant to open requests as well. Now, we are going to focus on agents, right? Within the agents, we have the builder that creates applications, and we have the specialist that performs specific actions, right? So the specialist is what we're used to as AI automation, which is now is called agents, okay? So let's see here an example of an expense reimbursement process and how we can have different agents that work for us within that process, right? So we have here, for example, the document validation phase. One of our issues with this phase is the opening of orders with insufficient information. So we can have a refund triage agent. What will that agent do? Analyze each request, read invoices, receipts, and other documents to ensure all necessary information is provided. Now let's say we have the order classification phase. The issue that we have is a slow order triage, right? We can have a policy specialist agent. Now, that agent can analyze expenses and categorizes them into predefined categories, right? Like transportation, meals, accommodation, and so on. Then it routes them to the correct workflow, depending, of course, on factors, right? Like amount, value, department, and so on. The order approval, the issue that we can have is, for example, reimbursements approved outside of the policy. Then we can have a policy evaluator agent. It will check if the reimbursement complies with the company's policies and, of course, makes the decision to approve or reject the request. We have the status notification phase, in which we can have the issue of requesters without visibility. We can have an agent of requester communication that will send automatic updates to requesters as the request progresses through the process, such as received, approved, rejected, or pending. And finally, we have the phase of payment execution. The main issue that we might have is the inefficient systems integrations. And that's when we have the refund payment agent that can send this payment information to external systems and processes the reimbursement payment, okay? Now, keep in mind, guys, that all of these agents can be AI, okay? Some of them, it can be a human agent, right? A human analyst working with the help of an AI agent, of course, right? But all of these agents can work autonomously according to our own rules within the prompts and, of course, executing on their own, right? Based on the AI. So let's see a little bit about one of those tips, okay? Guys, remember, if you have any questions, please send them in the Q&A button, all right? We will have a few minutes by the end where I can cover all of the questions, okay? I don't know if you saw this post. That was from one of the CEOs of OpenAI. We have here a suggestion, which is basically, I like to call this a secret that a lot of people saw, but not everyone saw, okay? So I wanted to share with you. It's the anatomy of an O1 prompt. Basically, how you can write an excellent prompt so that the AI agent will perform exactly as you want it to, okay? So we have here one example. We first have the go statement, then we have the return format, then we have some warnings, and then we have the context dump, okay? So like I said, you will have access to this presentation later, but I will cover a bit of each topic here. Within the go, you will write a clear, focused objective at the start, right? So let's begin with phrases like I require or I need. Keep it concise but complete, right? So for example, I require a list of hidden pubs in central London that serve Sunday roast. That is one example outside of what we have here from our OpenAI CEOs, okay? This is from myself, from a website that I saw, and I saw some of those examples and I tested the prompt, okay? Now we have the return format. We can specify precisely how you want the information presented. List each required element. So let's begin with, please provide the following for each entry. And we'll list every data point that was needed, right? We'll also include any specific formatting requirements. So for example, please provide the official name, full address, booking details, price of the roast, and specially sites for each pub, right? And the warnings and requirements will outline any critical checks or validations. So let's highlight potential pitfalls and specify must-have criteria, okay? Of course, we need to know if there are any deal breakers. For example, something that you don't want in that roast, right? So especially that you don't have in that particular roast. Let's ensure that each pub, that's an example. Let's ensure each pub is currently operating and accepts Sunday bookings. So that is based on your goal, but it's also a warning, okay? Now we have the context details. We'll conclude with relevant background information. Share your experience level, note preferences, mention constraints, and include any helpful context. Another example, I visited most traditional pubs in Soho, and I prefer less touristy establishments. Looking for somewhere to take visiting family next month. Okay, so that's what basically you explain to the AI why you require a list of hidden pubs in central London. So that is the context. We also have another example here, right? So the goal here is I want a list of the best hikes, medium length hikes within 2 hours of San Francisco, right? Then you have the return format, which is how you would like the AI to tell you, right? Provide like the address of the hike, the start, the end address, the distance, the drive time, and so on. Warnings. Be careful to make sure the name is correct, that it actually exists. So this is a very important part. You are letting the AI know that you don't want any hallucinations. You don't want the AI to make up anything. You want real data here, right? So for context, my girlfriend and I like to hike. So we've done a lot of the local hikes and we want to see something different. The context is very important so that the AI knows why you asked that question. So perhaps it will take into account, in this example, we're looking for pubs to take our visiting family. So perhaps it will offer me some examples of pubs in London that are more family friendly. I could ask, for example, my pet will be joining me. I want something to eat. I want something specific to drink. So a lot of this context will also help within the prompt. Okay. This is very important. This is a key tip, not only for your daily use of AI, so that whether that's ChatGPT or some other tool, but especially to our Pipefy AI agents, in which you will write a lot of prompts, letting that agent know what they should do. Okay. So let's move on to our demos, guys. 1 second. The air in my city is not ideal today, which is why I'm drinking a lot of water, right? So for example, I will move on to the product, but I want to show you these demos that we have in our YouTube page. We have a finance agent here that can help automate your invoice validation workflow. So how I started this prompt is basically you are a financial analyst who needs to read and validate an invoice. Okay, so that is basically the goal that I said to the prompt. So we can see here, let me remove the audio. Later on, you can watch this demo with the audio on, okay? But we can see here how it will work, okay? We will soon see the product here. Just 1 second. We have here a process, and we just move on to automation. Let me just increase the screen. In automation, we have here create new automation, right? So for example, we can use any trigger. In this case, I use whenever a card is created, right? If this card is created, I want to create an AI agent. So it is an automation, but the agent will perform a lot of activities, basically everything that I ask it to in the prompt, okay? And like I said, this is how I started the prompt. You are receiving a receipt. Your task is to analyze it and fill in the requested fields below, right? Then I need to select in this blue box here the dynamic fields that the AI will take into consideration so that this analysis can be completed, right? In this case, I selected the dynamic field of receipt, right? So basically, that is what the AI is going to analyze. And I've also selected here the value, the price. Then this is the document that we, of course, have already filled in the card. So this is what is going to be analyzed. But we also need to select the fields to return the results, okay? So soon, let's see here. We'll be completing the prompt, okay? The prompt doesn't need to be big. That just usually depends on your objective, okay? But we need to select the fields that the agent will complete. So there are two different kinds of fields here, okay? Now I will move on to our product so that I can show you. I have actually two different places in which I can create the AI agent, right? I have a button right here underneath my screen, create an AI agent, okay? So that will lead me to, of course, this page as well, okay? So when we create a new automation, we can select any trigger here and we can create the agent. So this is where we're going to write the prompt. And we have two different steps to add the certain fields. First, we need to know which fields the AI agent is going to analyze. The AI agent needs to see that particular field to know what it's going to do based on that particular field. So if you want the AI to analyze any information, for the moment, you need to have that information in a particular field, okay? So in this blue button here, you can select any field of your process, all right? And then you will select the fields to return the results. These are the fields that need to be blank because that is the place in which your agent will give the analysis, right? So the fields that will be filled out by the AI agent, right? So let's see here, we've already selected the fields that is going to return the results of the analysis of the receipt, right? And we can, of course, create the automation once we're done selecting these fields, right? We have a current limit of 30 fields, all right? So that's a lot to complete and to analyze. I've opened a new request, and as soon as I created this card, the amount and the summary of the invoice, as well as the compliance validation, was already established by the agent, which is basically what I asked that agent to do. Okay? So you can see here as well that I have an insurance agent, right? I have a lot of examples, but I'm showing here three, all right, three different examples to you. Now we're going to talk about claims analysis. I started this prompt with, you are an analyst working for an insurance company and need to evaluate documents and images, okay? So let's see how this one works, guys. Now, this time I'm going to show you here the creation of the card first, okay? So this is an auto claim reimbursement. I have a driver's license. I have here date of the accident and more informations. But I also have pictures of my ruined car. That was a pretty bad accident, right? So I have here some pictures, which are my supporting documents, and a work order, which is basically what I gave at the automobile shop, right? So that the auto repair shop, that they could fix my car. So let's create this card, okay? Once that is created, the AI will fill out all of this information, okay? So that's not my name, that's not my ID, but that is the name and ID of the document that I uploaded, right? So that was taken from Google, but basically the AI was able to read that document and complete these informations for me, as well as the vehicle's model and color, right? The license plate, the accident severity. Indeed, it was high. We could see that the car was definitely ruined. We have some identified damages here. And we have more information. So you will be able to see that one agent was able to give me all of those answers, okay? The description of the accident, the repairs that were identified, the auto repair shop that was in that work order that I also uploaded, the description of the service, the total value, and so on, okay? Even the comparison, we asked the comparison of the total value and of the necessary repairs that were made. So the AI agent is able to basically give us an opinion based on all of its knowledge, on all of its intelligence, if it's accurate. So if my work order, the total value was $300, is that accurate according to the repairs that the AI has identified that my car needed to have? So, for example, if it was only a bumper sticker, if it's only something, the rear end window, something that wasn't that expensive, the AI would be able to tell me that the comparison didn't match, right? Didn't make a lot of sense for me to pay a lot of dollars for something that doesn't usually cost that much, okay? And in this case, it's not pre-approved, right? Because they saw some discrepancies between the necessary repairs and the services listed in the work order. So let's see, for example, if I saw that the car door was all messed up, but the repair order, the work order, only mentioned the front side of the car, only mentioned the back seat. So that didn't match with my pictures, and the AI would be able to analyze that, okay? Now let's see how this was set up, okay? Again, it could be any trigger, okay? But in this case, I wanted the AI agent to work as soon as a card was opened. So the card is opened with the start form is filled, right? When the person uploaded the pictures of the car, uploaded the work order, and uploaded these issues to the insurance. So that is the perfect trigger to be used. Now we're going to see here, you are an analyst working for an insurance company, right? And the job is to analyze the images provided by the insured who is requesting reimbursement for the auto claim, okay? And now I gave the step-by-step instructions. This prompt is a little bigger, right? So you can later on pause it and read everything. But I'm basically asking the agent here to analyze the driver's license, fill out, of course, complete the fields with the ID, with the name. And I'm also asking to analyze the documents, the supporting documents, which in this case were the pictures of the car, and of course to analyze the work order to see if they matched, right? So like I said, kind of a bigger prompt. You can also ask suggestions of ChatGPT to perhaps make it smaller, but of course you need to be detailed in what you want your agent to do. Then I selected all of the fields to return the results, which were a lot. Let me even skip ahead here, right? So those are a lot of fields within one agent. Let me make it very clear. This is one agent, one automation that you need to create, and it can fill out up to 30 different fields, okay? So that was basically how this insurance agent worked. I have a final example here for you guys in the demo, which are the legal contract analysis. So I started this one with, you are a legal analyst and need to review the attached contract, okay?
Contract
Let's see how this works. This time I will also show you here the card working first, and then the demand, of course, in the process. And then I will show you how we built that agent, how we started that prompt. In this case, the agent is not going to work when you create a card. It's going to work when you complete the field, when you update the field. So I have here a field that says contract model. So I uploaded the contract and then I simply clicked on generating AI return, okay? And I have the whole return of the AI. I have an overall analysis. I have involved parties in the contract. I have termination clauses. I have potential risks. I have detected inconsistencies, and I even have some suggestions based on what the AI has analyzed. Okay, let's see how that was possible. In automation, we used a different trigger this time. We used when a field is updated, right? So you need to determine that field, and then you will select create an AI agent, okay? And of course, you write the prompt here. Okay, so imagine these are variations, different ways to say the same thing. So I gave you an example, right? Before I entered the demo, and in the demo, we have other examples, but the prompt says the same thing. The AI is a contract analyst and needs to review an automatically generated contract. So the field that the AI is going to analyze is just one, right? So just that one that I updated with the contract, okay? Now, in this case, I also have different fields, but this is based on previously filled fields, right? So previous information that I had so that this particular AI could work, but I could have simply one field here as well, okay? Also a bigger prompt, but in this case, we have an overall analysis of what the AI can do. The AI can also update one single field, right? So while in the prompt, the AI can analyze 1 to 30 different fields, in the fields to return, it can also be 1 up to 30, all right? So those are some of the demos that we have, but I wanted to give you a big picture of what we have here within our AI agents. How can I find these AI agents inside of Pipefy? In every process that you have your automations here. And when you select the trigger, we have the create an AI agent. But you can also select create an AI agent here, right below the process, and you will select the trigger here. So card is created, field is updated, and so on. And it will direct you to the same page, okay? This is how you create a specialist agent, okay? And you can analyze in different phases, in different fields of your process, how this agent can help you, can aid your, for example, your analysts, your operators. It can save time. It can keep you from reduce, right, human errors. It can keep you from spending a lot of money, a lot of time with that same person in that same process, considering that with one instruction, the agent can do a lot of different activities, okay? And if, of course, if you move on to the main page of your organization, we have the AI builder, right? So that's also an agent. We have some suggestions here. So this is how you can ask suggestions for the AI. Here underneath, you also have that option, okay? So you can, for example, suggest some pipes for finance, right? So just some suggestions that the Pipefy AI can provide you with, okay? Of course, you can take these suggestions if you want, or you can just give out your own example, your own use case, okay? And how can a team of agents help scale your operation, right? So whether you're talking about human resources, finance, customer service, or other departments, we have a lot of different processes in which agents can be ready to help you. So we have here some examples of these processes, but that's why I sent here in the chat my email, okay? Let me know. Fe, I want to know how I can implement an agent in my support ticket process, in my vendor registration, in whatever use case you may have, okay? And we'll be able to help you with the prompt, with basically the activity that the AI agent will do as well, okay? So we have here a question about the Pipefy AI as a whole, not necessarily the agent, okay? We have full security. So let me explain to you how this particular, let's go back here to any pipe. Let's go to automation. So when you create an AI agent and you select these dynamic fields that are basically informations from your process, it doesn't leave here. This is the only place in which the AI is taking into consideration data from your process. Okay, you cannot basically consult or have access to this data in anywhere else in Pipefy. The AI does not learn from your data, okay? It does take into account your data in your process if you select it so. But if I'm going to use data in my AI, that is only owned by me, right? So that is my data. I cannot use any customer's data in my own Pipefy AI. So basically, this is your ChatGPT, but it's better because it executes tasks for you. The agent can, of course, complete fields. It can summarize a text. It can review a text. It can read documents. It can read images. It can translate. It can categorize. It can do a lot of things, right? But that is in your process based on your data that will not leave your process. It's secured like every other data is secure within your pipe. Okay, so that was an excellent question. All right. Okay, perfect. I'm seeing another question here, which is basically I would need to see the prompt. Okay, so that is from a question that I saw in my email, guys. I have my email open here, so you can already send in the email as well. It said that the prompt did not work, right? But the activity that the person explained it to me is supposed to work. So it only did, the reason why it didn't work is because the prompt is not very detailed or well written, okay? That is why I showed here, sorry, let's go back. The tips, the main secrets of the prompt. The secret is always within the prompt, okay? So let me just see the person's name. Igor, please let me know how, if you could send the picture of the prompt. I already see what you wanted to do with the pipe, but just show me the prompt and perhaps I can offer you some suggestions, all right? And of course, guys, I don't know if you've already been able to execute to do the artificial intelligence course in our Pipefy Academy. Let me show you 1 second. So this is our Pipefy Academy. We have a lot of different courses here, okay? And we have one about artificial intelligence with Pipefy AI, okay? So if you click here in this course, you have a lot of different classes, a lot of knowledge about Pipefy AI. We have different use cases as well. And here we have the fundamentals of AI, which is very important for you to realize how this market is built and our strategy upon it. But we also have tips on prompts. Okay, oh, here it is. So we have here how to create assertive prompts. We also have techniques for process mapping, for visualization, and so on. Okay, so these are very important tips. Let me copy and paste this in the chat. And hopefully you'll be able to add some value to your prompts as well, okay? Perfect. Igor just sent me his prompt and I can already see how we can optimize it, okay? So basically it has the prompt of 1 sentence. I cannot show you because he's a customer, but it's 1 sentence, the prompt. And it selected the field, so that dynamic field here, this one. Let's suppose that in this case, it's going to analyze the supporting documents, right? So basically, let me just show you. It's like, give me the answer in the field. And they just added a space and added the dynamic field here. So that is not a good prompt. Okay, we need to make it very clear to the AI our goal, the warnings of the AI, our context. We need to be very clear on what the AI needs to return to us. So watch some of our demos, Igor, based on what I showed you here. I will already give you a suggestions of how this prompt can be better to do the activity that you wanted to do. But I'm pretty sure that this is the mistake. Okay, so once you make that prompt clearer, even Igor just mentioned that another AI agent worked that has a different prompt. So it's not an issue with Pipefy, it's an issue with the prompt that you wrote. Okay, so once this is all settled, the AI agent will work. Okay. Um, Guys, if you have any other questions, just I cannot see the chat, all right? Just remember that. Just send us in the Q&A button, okay? I can only send things in the chat, but something in Zoom is not allowing me to see any of your guys' messages in the chat. So even if you want to send me good morning, good afternoon, good evening, please send me in the Q&A button, all right? Please. That will be settled soon, okay? It's something with our Zoom account. So to finish off here, I will give you an extra few minutes to send us something in the Q&A button, send us questions, all right? But I have here some support materials to help you not only in your Pipefy journey, but specifically with our AI agents, okay? I have here our support and our chat. So like I said, I will send this deck, this presenting deck to you later, and you will be able to access these links. So our support here is from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Brasilia time. You can change that according to your time zone, but you can also send any questions that you may have to our support email or even to mine, and I will direct you to the support, okay? We have our Pipefy community in which you can connect with other members. You can connect with national members from Brazil that speak English. A lot of them speak English. So you can have that contact, learn about Pipefy, share some of the best practices, share your questions, share feedback. All right. So the link is here. We have our help center, which is very good. Let me open here. And if I just right here, agent, I have here a full article about how to create an agent, right? So that can be helpful to you as well. And I also have the Pipefy Academy, which I just showed you, right? We have our Process Manager course, which is our main course. But you can, I opened the AI one, but you can see a lot of other courses that we have. And we have our master classes here as well, okay? So for those who have participated in our master classes about New Portal, about different use cases for AI, we have all of those available here. All right. Guys, so last chance to send your questions in the Q&A button. We have a few minutes, okay? So we have a question here. If we can ask the AI to analyze a file and extract the data that I specify to data fields. You can do that, okay? We have two options, but for the moment, I will recommend you do this one. So we are launching soon our skills option here. It's not available to everyone. Okay, so let me know if you want that option, which is why I didn't even show here today. I used an organization that does not have the skills available yet. Okay, in skills, you are able to upload a document and the AI will take that into consideration. I do need to disclose that this feature is on beta, all right? So we are testing, we are seeing how it works. We are receiving feedbacks from you guys, from everyone who's using, from specific companies, to see how we can improve. Okay, so for now, what I recommend that you do is basically have in your in your cards that document, right? So upload that document. That will require a bit of a manual task, but once you have that document in your card, it can be attached to the field, right? So in your automations, you are able to create this AI agent with this dynamic field. So just like I created the form with an invoice, remember, with the pictures of the car, with the work order, these are all documents. It doesn't need to be in the start form, it needs to be in the process, it needs to be in the field. Once that is inside of your agent, then you can analyze it and specify in any other fields the answer of this data, okay? All right, guys, I think that's it. You can send again, like I said, you can send your questions through my email. So that is, let me send here again because I'm not sure. I think you're receiving the contents in the chat. So that's fernanda.cunha@pipefy.com. Okay, you can send your questions through there. And I hope to see you at the end of the month. I will cover a little bit more about automations, all right? Different kinds of actions in automations, okay? So stay tuned for that invite. Thank you, everyone. See you soon.